Can I get a pen from someone? I don't know where mine is. Oh, I know where it is. Somewhere in the light. Alright. Go. Oh. NOAA solves now. Fine et al. 13. NOAA collaborates with leading university scientists through its cooperative institutes, sea grant colleges, and extramural grants programs. Through its laboratories and centers, the agency promotes and exploits new discoveries and applies advanced research findings to develop new tools for monitoring the atmosphere, oceans, and ocean resources. The agency also provides a critical national data infrastructure that allows scientists everywhere to monitor the continuous evolution conditions in the ocean. NOAA's core scientific staff provides unique R&D capabilities. Much of this is built on the long term of the observation, monitoring, and data systems. The NOAA research laboratories serve as an important research to operations bridge for research coming from within the NOAA. NOAA research continues to have numerous successes in addressing real world problems. One example is identification of the cause of the ozone hole over Antarctica. Of urgent emerging importance is NOAA's ongoing research aimed at better understanding and predictions of the impacts of ocean acidification on ocean resources and the implication of reduced arctic ice for shifting fisheries and the global climate. Current funding is sufficient. Waglam 14. The White House released President Obama's budget proposal. The proposal appears to be good news for the ocean and great first step towards strong funding for ocean health programs next year. In particular, we ask whether National Ocean and Atmospheric Administration, NOAA's top line budget number is sufficient, whether there is an appropriate balance between NOAA's wet ocean and dry ocean, non-ocean missions. When it comes to NOAA's overall budget numbers, things look pretty good regarding the balance between wet and dry missions. The single biggest increase goes to the satellite line office for the National Ocean Service and National Marine Fisheries Service. Both see healthy increases as well. Overall, NOAA funding looks strong. The White House demonstrated support for increased funding at NOAA. NOAA programs lead cutting-edge research on ocean health and support smart ocean management. NOAA is also the central agency tasked with ending overfishing. Ocean acidification research funding sees a big increase. Notably, the President's budget will provide a much-needed $50 million for ocean acidification research and increase of $9 million administration-wide attention to climate change. The new budget also establishes a climate resilience fund. While we have yet to see specific details on how this fund will be distributed, it is designed to help states and citizens adapt. NOAA should have a critical role to play here. Ocean priorities will be strongly supported in the coming year. Multiple all causes to STEM collapse. Plan can't resolve. Charette 13. You've seen the warning 1,000 times. Too few young people study scientific or technical subjects when the country's competitive edge is threatened. The predicted shortfall of STEM is supposed to number in the millions. Even as a great recession. Oh, just skip to the highlighted part. Every year, U.S. schools grant more STEM degrees than there are available jobs. When you factor in H-1B visa holders, existing STEM degree holders, and the like, it's hard to make a case that there's STEM labor shortage. The real STEM crisis is one of literacy. The fact that today's students are not receiving a solid grounding in science, math, and engineering. In the United States, you don't need a STEM degree to get a STEM job, and if you don't get a degree, you won't necessarily work in the field after you graduate. STEM jobs can be filled by people who don't have STEM degrees. Many STEM jobs today are also targets for outsourcing or replacement by automation. The nature of STEM has also changed dramatically in the past several decades. Employers seldom offer generous education and training benefits. So any of these factors can affect both short-term and longer-term demand for STEM workers as well. But as for the particular skills those workers will need, the price of labor has not risen as you would expect it to do if STEM workers were scarce. U.S. government spends more than $3 billion each year on 209 STEM-related initiatives overseen by 13 federal agencies. On to coral reefs. Gosselin 11. Coral reef adaptation now. Gosselin 11. Some scientists and media have gotten much attention claiming the world's coral reefs could disappear in as little as 20 to 30 years. The world's largest coral reef off the coast of Australia is not going to disappear as fast as once previously thought, according to a new study. Warnings are exaggerated. This comes as no surprise for skeptics. How many millions of years and through what range of temperatures have the coral reef survived so far? Need a few tenths of a degree Celsius change over a few decades will have no impact on the reefs. Some current projections of global scale collapse of reefs within the next few decades probably overestimates the rapidity and uniformity of decline. If the relativity of sudden transformation of ice age optimum did not kill them, then why would you tell tenths of a degree over decades or centuries do it? However, reefs are naturally highly diverse and resilient and are likely to respond to the change conditions in different ways and at varying rates. The rapid changes I mentioned here were measured in degrees per decade and century, not tenths of a degree, as is the case with today's relatively boring rate of change. Every single eco-apocalypse has been exaggerated. There will only be 1 to 2 degrees of warming. Positive feedbacks are minimal and humans can adapt. Ridley as well. None of our threatened eco-apocalypses have played out as predicted. The middle ground possibilities were too frequently excluded from consideration. The net positive feedbacks from water vapor in the atmosphere are low. We face only 1 to 2 degrees Celsius from warming this century. The Greenland ice sheet may melt, but no faster than a current rate of less than 1% per century.
Time.
Open for cross-X. Okay, how long time occurred before that?
Like 3 seconds.
No, it was a little bit before that. I just had my timer went underneath my document that I was making notes in, so it wasn't like on my screen.
Okay.
Okay, so where did you end on before? Did you get to ocean acidification? Did you get there?
No, I did not get to the ocean acidification.
Okay, so
I got to warming is exaggerated.
okay. So how is the NOAA solved now? I mean,
What?
so how is the NOAA solved now? Like how is it presented?
Well, they're getting funding, and as my NOAA Solve Now Fine et al. 13 card says, it's got ongoing research already aimed at better understanding the impacts of ocean acidification and the impacts on ocean resources and the implications of reduced Arctic ice, and also already doing climate research.
Okay. So and then so what you're saying the every eco-apocalypse and everything that they're saying about climate data, everything is hyped and overstated, right? Is that what
Yeah.
you're saying? Yeah. Okay, then so when you're talking about coral reefs, so are you saying that there's no reason for anyone to like actually be scared about anything happening with them? Or
For the most part, yes. I'm saying that coral reefs are resilient and adapt, and also that they survive for millions of years.
yeah, and Carson. And then I'll take Carson.
All right.
Okay, and how much do I have left?
115.
And let me just give the class down. Yeah, so
We're
I'll
fine. 2AC
yeah.
misses.
Yeah, so I'll go on down the or I'll go down the slope. Basically the NOAA solved like off of the agency, and then I'll go to the stem collapse. And yeah, we'll go.
All right.
So, we need a new agency for exploration because the NOAA is limited to the pre-existing oceanic knowledge, not for exploration beyond 14. Taking marine biology that using the NOAA and NASA is for exploring the ocean. The NOAA's mission is focusing on the ocean creation. NOAA is the ground crew while NASA is taking charge of the aging satellites. However, this is limited. The partnership can only go so far. If we have NASA-like organizations for ocean exploration, we can benefit us in many ways. We can have better understanding of global warming, better ways to combat pollution, have sense of innovation, taste for exploration of the ocean. United States federal government should establish an agency key to research and tech development. McNa et al. 2000. The United States, U.S. government should establish an ocean exploration program for the initial period of 10 years with a new funding level at $75 million a year. The program should include voyages of discovery with high priority areas, including the U.S. Exclusive economic zone and poorly known areas. The U.S. inventory of living and non-living resources in the ocean should be second to none, particularly with our own EEZ and continental margins. Platform communication, navigation, incremental development efforts include the capitalization of major assets for ocean exploration in order to equip our explorers with the very best in marine technology, data management, so discoveries can have maximum impact for research, commercial, and regulatory and education benefits. And then also the STEM. So there's a lack of STEM talent. Hall 14. The pipeline of STEM talent continues to lag even as their need for STEM professionals continue to soar. After a long period of flat to down indicated some upward movement. Even with those numbers as a proportion of total degrees granted, they are however at the same level as in 2000. The education pipeline to fill the current and future jobs that will require STEM skills isn't producing enough for the talent. The lack of progress in attracting women and minorities to STEM pursuit is troubling. STEM demand is increasing rapidly, rose in 13. The SNE workforce grew from 182,000 to about 5.4 million people between 1950 and 2009, about 15 times faster than the United States population, 4 times faster than the total U.S. workforce. There's a steep rise in demand for STEM talent. STEM employees have been laid off or unable to find jobs. Reminders that there's nothing in life is assured. But even though sluggish years between 2009 and 2012, there are nearly 2 STEM-focused job postings for every unemployed STEM professional. Unemployed STEM stood just over 4% less than the 9.3% unemployment rate for non-STEM workers. STEM professionals get paid more than non-STEM professionals even when you control their education for other factors. Not every STEM degree is a ticket of success. People finding PhDs in some sciences can find time in finding jobs that match with the degree. Demand will only intensify the economy picks up. Yeah, you could cut the card there at the economy picks up. There's a serious shortage of STEM graduates coming through Dupree 13. Jobs in the STEM field go unfilled for lack of qualified workers, with 45% of employers anticipating difficulties over the next few years, according to the National STEM Center. U.S. finished 25th in math and chemistry science compared to 31 of other countries, 48th in the quality of math and science education, 54% of high school graduates are not ready for college math, 69% of high school graduates are not ready for college science. And we cut the part there, science. There's a shortage of STEM graduates and the professionals entering the key STEM fields. Honeycutt 13. There are professionals who believe that STEM crisis is a myth. Idea that recent STEM graduates are having trouble finding positions in the field. The problem is that we are producing new and truly skilled STEM professionals at a fast enough rate. Less than 40% who start out as a STEM major receive a STEM degree. Nearly half of the Army Corps and Engineers are eligible for retirement. More than half the fastest growing jobs in the nation are in STEM fields. The STEM crisis does not exist, but we are facing a major shortage of STEM professionals. And also, the NEG did not address from the 180 the marine science
Rep.
I crossed that stuff off.
Oh yeah, my bad.
So do we just
Yeah, you can switch it.
yeah, scratch the last part. Alright. So basically right now you have STEM, do you have any other advantages that you read in that speech?
Yeah, the new agency that we need.
Okay.
Because the NOA is
The incurrency cards.
Where?
Here.
Yeah, that's all.
The solvency/incurrency. Alright. So if the current NOA is limited to pre-existing oceanic knowledge, does that mean that they can't study anything in the ocean, or does that mean that they're not going to lead to STEM leadership? Does it say that it's not going to lead to STEM leadership? Is there any mention of STEM leadership in your incurrency cards?
Not in the NOA. I don't have that in the NOA cards.
In the incurrency cards?
Yeah,
Alright.
or the solvency, yeah.
One of your cards is...
The solvency, he's talking about the new agency, he's not talking about STEM leadership. That's why I have another card about STEM leadership.
Alright. It also says that your other card is from the year 2000.
Which one?
Your second incurrency card. that still relevant now in the year 2014?
What the card is talking about doesn't actually have to do with the date and time. It's saying that we need a new agency, like, that needs to improve marine technology. It's not actually talking about, like, currently this is what's happening. It's saying that we need this to happen. That doesn't change through time.
And why can't we just add to the current NOAA and add to its current policies? Why don't we let it explore the ocean instead of just creating a new agency?
Because the new agency would bring us starting from the beginning.
Time. Prep.
Yeah. Take all of that, yes.
What's up?
Didn't want to read it.
That's time.
Alright. Only reading one new card, but I can still flash these. Alright. Alright. I'll go STEM, then inherency. Well, first I'll talk about, yeah, just STEM, then inherency, really. Ready? Alright, so he dropped all of his other advantages in the 2AC, so all he has left is his STEM advantage. All of his STEM cards are uniqueness. He doesn't even answer the all causes of STEM unemployment, therefore STEM has no advantages because of the all causes. Also, this would not solve for his now irrelevant STEM advantage anyways. Furthermore, his cards say that STEM talent is needed, which, while untrue, the talent level isn't the issue that he would supposedly solve for. It would be the interest. And oceans don't solve for the interest because oceans are boring. They inspire no one. Carlisle 13. There has been a veritable explosion of deep water exploration with extensive subsea surveys for pipeline and oil well infrastructure. I can tell you that the ocean is excruciatingly boring. The vast majority of the seafloor, once you get greater than 50 miles offshore, is barren, featureless mud, but in space you can see all the way through to nothing. The goals of space exploration are visible from Earth, so we can dream and imagine reaching into the heavens, but in the deep ocean, visibility is less than 100 feet and travel speed is measured in single-digit knots. The oceans are vast, boring, and difficult to explore. There's actually a lot of scientific exploration going on in the oceans. Our ability to deep sea creatures rarely survive the trip to the surface. Our ability to understand these animals is very limited, and their only connection to the surface biosphere is through few food chain connections. We're fundamentally quite disconnected from deep ocean life. There's no hope of ever establishing human habitation more than 1,000 feet deep. The pressure is too great, and no engineering or materials conceivable today would allow us to build livable size based on the deep sea floor. To recap, we don't spend more time, money exploring the ocean because it's expensive, difficult, and uninspiring. We stare up at the stars and dream of reaching them, but few people look off to the side in a boat and wish they could go down there. Furthermore, the inspiring STEM talent for the ocean would only lead to more STEM jobs, more people wanting to work in the ocean field, if anything, which it wouldn't because oceans are boring, but even if it did, they would only work in the ocean field. Now, that alone wouldn't lead to competitiveness. The whole competitiveness issue was that we'd have lots of STEM innovations, not just innovations in the ocean field. The oceans wouldn't solve. Onto inherency. His only inherency answer that he read was, or he read two inherency answers, one of which was written in the year 2000, which is clearly outdated. It said that we need an agency that works with the oceans. Well, the NOAA works with the oceans. His other inherency card said that we need an agency that explores the oceans, but the NOAA, since his only advantage is STEM at this point, the NOAA still works with the oceans and still would inspire people, which it doesn't because oceans are boring, but it still would inspire people just as much as his plan. So there's no advantage to his plan at this point because it's not inspiring. It's not inspiring. It doesn't solve for all the types of competitiveness that he mentioned. It doesn't solve for any of the advantages of
Time.
them.
Yeah, I'll use the rest of my time.
140. Time.
Yeah, I don't have to be hard. Yeah. So basically, like what he's saying is that the NOAA works just fine right now, and we don't need to have another agency, or we don't have alternate funding for anything. And in his last speech, he was talking about how we have to create living spaces for humans under the water for them to actually have civilization. But nowhere did he ever talk about that in either of my feet, like in the 180 or the 280, like the plan text itself was that we should dedicate funding for exploring the oceans through the NOPP. There was nothing about actually having people living under the ocean. And also, like, he was talking about the ocean is excruciatingly boring and that no one knows anything. And the reason that no one, and that it's so boring, and he's saying that, like, he said it, like, no one knows because they haven't actually explored any of the ocean for them to actually say that it's boring. And yeah, okay. And then for when he said that my STEM advantage doesn't work, basically, like, he just said that no one cares about STEM and everything, but the STEM, like, right now, in the part I read extending from the 2AC, that the STEM advantage was increasing rapidly, rose in 13. That, yeah, people actually need, like, STEM jobs in, like, areas of research like the ocean. Yeah, and going back to the NOAA, they're basically, okay, let me extend this from the Bierman 14 card, that we need a new agency for exploration because the NOAA is limited to pre-existing ocean knowledge, not exploration, and, the NOAA isn't actually exploring the ocean, that if, as he was saying, they're actually that good, then they would have already explored the ocean by now, but if they've been here for so long and they're not exploring the ocean, that means that it's not working and we need an alternative, we need a new agency like the proposed National Oceanographic Partnership Program, which is dedicated to only ocean and studying the ocean, rather than the NOAA, which is like more of a partnership of NASA on the ground, because as it's the National Ocean and Atmospheric Association or whatever, and they're not focusing on what's in the ocean, they're focusing on the atmosphere and satellites and things like that with NASA. So we need a new agency. Yeah.